So, hey everyone, welcome back to another vlog, and I wanted to just say thanks to everybody who's been commenting on my recent Babylon 5 reboot vlog. I know I threw it up there and thought I would just cover some of the latest news as it came in about the Babylon 5 reboot, and then 2 weeks after the video went live I started getting a rush of comments and people getting involved in the conversation. So I don't know what happened. Somehow it got out there and people started viewing, and yeah, so thanks to everybody. And whilst there hasn't been a lot of news recently, maybe it's something I'll keep covering. But at least in general, sci-fi, being an international or being a non-US viewer, we got the news this morning that 2 days out from Star Trek Discovery Season 4 airing, Paramount have pulled the plug on Netflix being able to show it to the world, and we will now have to wait until next year before we get a chance to see the next season of Star Trek Discovery. So way to go, Paramount, looking after your fans there. A lot of outrage on social media about that one, and I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, I guess, and it will drive people to piracy or not watching at all, and all the outrage. And I guess, you know, it's a bit of a shame, but it is Star Trek Discovery, and arguably, am I going to be that fussed? There's plenty of other sci-fi that's coming that I'm looking forward to, and I will have access to, and so I'm looking at you, Lost in Space, the final season, and The Expanse, the final season, so all is not lost. Anyway, to the world of Babylon 5 and its reboot, what did come out of it was that JMS finally decided to put up a FAQ for anyone who had questions about the new show, and I'd have to say that in the time since he's posted that, and I'm not saying it's because of the FAQ, it's probably just general, you know, without any new news to talk about, things have returned to normal. So yeah, the Facebook groups are back to the general conversations we had before, and everyone's going about their day and not so outraged. As certainly not as outraged as it was when the announcement came. But I thought I'd go over some of the things covered in JMS's FAQ, which is up on his Patreon site, because there were some interesting bits of information. He starts off with his most important rule: do not post story ideas any place that he can see them. It's always been his policy, and it's non-negotiable. That's why it's rule number 1. He has no say or control over anything like Babylon 5 Blurays, and whilst it has been remastered for, I think, is it Apple TV, or I'm certain somewhere in the world, in the streaming world, you can get access to remastered versions of Babylon 5. I haven't seen them yet. I don't know if we get them in Australia. It's certainly not on any streaming service here yet. But I would buy a properly remastered Blu-ray high-definition version of Babylon 5 in an instant. But JMS has no control or say in that. That's purely up to Warner Brothers. In fact, JMS has no say in anything that doesn't relate to a Babylon 5 feature film. So even novels, he can't bring those back either. He injects some of his own humour into the FAQs, which is always nice. Covers where you can watch Babylon 5, but obviously that only really probably covers America. Is Babylon 5 being rebooted? And his answer is reimagined, rebooted, either works, and yes. The pilot script is being written for Warner Brothers and the CW, and a production decision will be made based on the script. Question 8 is, will any members of the original cast be in the revived Babylon 5 series? His answer is production decisions must await a final production order. The same answer goes for anything about the crew, the CGI, the music, where will it be shot, who will compose, etc. All those await a final production order. How many episodes will there be? How many will you write? Same answer. How fast do white stars travel? And I know he's said this answer before, it was probably in the DVD special features, but they travel at the speed of plot. He covers his new books, and I definitely recommend reading his autobiography, Becoming Superman. That was a really interesting eye-opening read, and it helps you appreciate what he's gone through and how he approaches things. So I know a lot of people have fears about how the new show will go, but I'm pretty confident that if the executives from the CW or whoever are going to try and mess with his show, he's going to walk away. Which will be sad. It'll be a Crusade event again, but better than him putting up something that we wouldn't be happy with. Where do we go? Okay, question 17. What is the new Babylon 5 pilot story about, and what characters are in it, and where is it set? He says all of that is classified. He can't publicly discuss any of it. There's no point in asking anything about the story for the new pilot because he can't tell you. Patrons here will be the first to get the details as they emerge, long before it reaches the rest of the world. Now, obviously, being on Patreon, you can pay a small amount to him monthly or whatever it is, and you can sign up and get that info. I have not signed up yet. Can I suggest actors for the new show? Technically, yes, provided those suggestions don't come with character names. But really, if you don't know for sure who the characters are going to be, how can you suggest a suitable actor? Question 21. What happened to Crusade? And he just simply says, I got mugged. For the more detailed answer, definitely read Becoming Superman. There were some really silly things that happened there. Question 22. What's the process for the new show? And his answer is that he's written and turned in the 1-hour pilot script, which is going through the usual network and studio development process, which is as follows. Scripts are finalized by the Christmas hiatus. Then production orders for the pilot, technically the first episode of the series, they come in February. Pilots then shoot anywhere from March to May, and based on how they come out, orders for the rest of the first season are given for a fall or autumn debut. So that gives us a bit of a timeline as to when we can start to expect things to happen. So we're going to have a very busy beginning of 2022 if that's the case. And he wraps up with a question about what goes on with the Patreon. So look, I'll try and drop a link down in the description if you haven't seen this already. I think it would be worth getting on board, certainly, and finding out all the information ahead of me. I'm certainly not the first to be posting about this kind of stuff. I just love Babylon 5 and seem to have found a little bit of a following just by talking about it. But until we get more information, there isn't really much more to say. I did think I could go and revisit the classic series, go through some of my favourite things, blah blah blah, if I could find some time. Maybe I'll get into that and work on editing some videos together. It could be a lot of fun. It could be a waste of time. But this channel is all about experimenting and finding what works. And certainly my most recent vlogs about Babylon 5 seem to have done pretty well. So if you guys want to keep talking about it, by all means, let's keep talking about it. But yeah, that's really about it. There's nothing much more to say. I'm excited that he says that he's turned in the pilot script already and where this is going to go. As some of you have said in the comments, some of you are holding on to the classic series and want to see a continuation or a retelling of things in a familiar setting, and I think at least one of you has said that you want a complete wipe and restart, and I'm up for either. I think whatever JMS is going to turn out is going to be interesting, and I hope, or I bet that he's got some new ways to give us some new twists that we wouldn't expect. And as much as I'd like to see Babylon 5 follow some of its original storytelling points, I'm expecting we're going to get something completely different, completely new, even if we have some familiar characters or character names. It's going to be fun, and it's exciting to have some sci-fi to look forward to. What with those previously mentioned Lost in Space and The Expanse will be wrapping up very soon, and with Star Trek in its state of whatever you want to call it at the moment, inaccessible to most of us, we need something that we can kind of look forward to. So I think I'll wrap it there. Enough babbling about it from me, and yeah, hit me up in the comments, What are your favourite things about the classic show? Would you want more people to talk with about Babylon 5? Hit me up. Alright, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.